Hello, ladies. I love talking in a microphone. I don't know. I feel like I'm a performer. I'm just gonna
we got plenty of extra cord here.
Okay. Who was at our program? I know you were at our program last week. Anybody else?
You? No.
All right.
Only one person.
Just one? Okay, well, welcome to the newcomers. So we were here last week talking about recycling and what you can and can't recycle in the city of Greensboro and here at Friend's Home and all sorts of fun things. So today we're talking about sustainability and different things that we can do to change our habits and different ways that we can help the earth. Some of the things you might not have control over here. I know, like when you eat here, sometimes it comes in certain packaging. So some of the suggestions might be things that you can pass on to family as well, or friends too. So we're just kind of going over everything that we can think of, and it'll be fun.
Yeah, so just take what works for you and what you can see working in your life, and anything else, you know, maybe it's just an idea that you can pass on to someone else, or like, you know, envision how it might work for you. So not everything's going to work for me, not everything's going to work for Ashley, not everything's going to work for you, but we're just trying to give you guys tips for how we can be a little more sustainable. Last week we talked a lot about recycling, and that is great. That is an awesome thing to do, and we will cover that a little more at the end too, especially because a lot of you guys weren't here last week. But recycling is not the answer. Recycling is not the answer because we're creating so much stuff that we cannot recycle at all. And what we can recycle is very little compared to all this stuff we're creating. All right. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. It's okay. Well, yeah, you know, that could be what it is, Ashley. I don't. She's the genius around.
I am not. I am the most
there we go.
uncomputer friendly. She's one of, you know that. Okay, so we have this quote up. We don't need a handful of people doing zero waste perfectly. We need millions of people doing it imperfectly. So we use the term in our field of zero waste a lot. And sometimes people think of zero waste and it's like, you don't want me to create any waste at all. And that's almost impossible unless you live off the grid on a farm and you're making all of your own food and you're very hippie and like things like that. So what we need is people trying, and even if you're doing it imperfectly, but you're trying, then it makes a huge difference. Okay, because recycling, like Macy said, isn't the answer. We are creating so much garbage. In America, we create about 5 pounds of garbage per person a day. Globally, it's about half that. So we are creating a ton of garbage.
So we're going to be focusing on waste reduction, and this is ways we can reuse things, ways that we can not throw things away, basically. And we're kind of going to we're going to start out with a broad category of food waste, and then after that, we're going to kind of go room by room or just like section by section, not necessarily room by room, with some ideas, and we have examples up on the table. And we always want to mention that the most sustainable thing is the thing that you already have. So going out to buy brand new Tupperware or brand new whatever, you know, a brand new dryer sheet ball or something like that is not the most sustainable thing. We want to use up what we already have and then get something new, because that's just diminishing the point if we're just throwing a bunch of stuff away to get new, more environmentally friendly things. So use what you have, use it up, and then try a more sustainable option.
So what happens when something goes to the landfill? A lot of people are under the perception that when something goes to the landfill, it's going to break down and it's going to become earth. So it doesn't matter if you throw your paper away or your paper bags or your food, it's going to decompose. But the thing is that when anything goes to the landfill, it's not really decomposing. there is a small percentage of that, but in a landfill, we are trying to crush everything and get the oxygen out. And that helps reduce the amount of methane that is created when things are decomposing. So when something goes to the landfill, first of all, most of our garbage is in a plastic bag. That's how we prefer it. That way it can't like float away. So it's already trapped. So even if you threw away a whole thing of paper in a bag, it's not going to decompose the way that we would hope it would. It's not decomposing. And then even if it did, it's trapped in a bag. And then it's in a landfill surrounded by all other things trapped in a bag. So it's just not, it's not doing what you think it's doing. So what we're trying to do is encourage people to reduce the amount of stuff that is going to the landfill, right? Making a conscious effort of how do I not create so much garbage in the first place.
And they have done core samples of landfills from like the 1960s. And they do a core sample, they pull out what's on the inside to see like what's in there, how it's doing, how it's breaking down, and they can read newspapers from the 1960s. There are apples in there that are just in perfect condition. So it's not like, oh, it's not going to break down soon, or it's not going to break down into anything like soil, but it's not going to break down, period. It's not going to turn back into the earth at all because of the way that it's kept. Or maybe in thousands and thousands and thousands of years it will, but not anytime soon. No, I kind of like leaning on this.
I'll go to the other side then, so that we're... All right, food waste. Food waste is the biggest thing in our landfills, right? It's about, on this pie chart, it's about 24.1% of everything that is sent to the landfill. So one of the first things that anybody can do is reduce the amount of food waste that they are creating. That is my number one probably thing I need to work on. I have a family of 4 and I hate cooking, and when I do cook, we don't eat the leftovers enough. So that's something that I definitely need to work on. But food waste is the number one thing in a landfill, so the number one thing that we can also reduce. The food scraps create methane, and that's like, landfills are like the number three?
Yeah.
Number 3 producer of methane in the United States. So it's a huge deal having all of this food waste go into a landfill.
Yeah, and so it says up there about 30 to 40% of our total food supply is wasted.
Oh, no.
So at least 1/3 of everything that is grown and produced, it never makes it to be eaten. It's never gotten its purpose. And then all those nutrients, let's say it's like a can of green beans or whatever that expires, it'll take a long time, but it's a can of green beans that gets thrown away. Those nutrients from the soil and that made their way into the green beans will never return back to the earth. So we're kind of like stripping our land of nutrients by growing all this food and then just throwing it away where it can never make its way back into the soil. And then it's a lot of money. I mean, a lot of money is wasted when we buy a ton of food and then we just throw it away. Ashley, like we said, is a family of 4. An average family of 4 throws away about $1,600 worth of food in a year. And that was in 2016. And we know that food prices have gone way up in the past 8 years. So I would estimate it's probably like 2,000 or more.
I have no doubt that we throw away an unfortunate amount of money in food.
Yes.
It just goes bad, or the kids will be like, oh, I like this, and then you go and buy like a Costco size of it, and they're like, I never liked that, and you're like, what are you talking about? You just ate the whole bag of it. And so, like I said, for me, I like to be very real with everybody because none of us are perfect. Me and Macy, we both still have things to do. We don't follow every single thing that we're about to tell you, but I will tell you, food waste is the number one thing I am working on currently.
Yeah.
My pantry is almost empty because I'm like, all right, let's use everything.
So yeah, food waste is a big, big deal. And how can we kind of get rid of our food waste? Or what are some things we can do to get rid of our food waste? One thing is I guess these are not going in order. I'm just going to click through then. Plan your meals ahead. Sorry, this mic, I'm having problems with it. Plan your meals ahead of time. So like, know what you're gonna have versus just buying a bunch of stuff and then keeping it and letting it go bad. I'm bad about that. I'll be like, oh, that zucchini looks really good, but I don't know how I'm gonna use it. I just buy it because I'm like, oh, I really like zucchini. So having something in mind that you're gonna make when you buy something, especially when it's produce. And then choosing the less desirable foods is sometimes a good way to make sure food doesn't get wasted at the grocery store. What I do is, if I'm buying bananas, I only buy the single bananas because they're more likely to get thrown away. There was a study done that like the single bananas are way more likely to get thrown away than the ones in the bunch. So I buy all the little single bananas versus buying a big bunch. And they are kind of like at different stages too. So some of them are like more yellow, some of them are more green, and then that way I can space them out instead of them all being green or all being too far gone. That's just one thing I do. Yeah.
But I only buy for myself, one person, and you can't buy small bunches of grapes. You have to buy them in huge containers, and they'll keep pretty well if you refrigerate them for maybe up to a week. But then you get tired of eating grapes every day.
I know.
And so there's a real dilemma for us folks who live alone and don't do food prep for anybody else.
Yeah.
I feel like that's where like sharing with your neighbors would be helpful. Like sometimes when my kids have liked something and then they don't like it, I'll bring it in, and Macy might eat it. Or like we had a barbecue last year. And I pawned like so much off on her because we were gonna go on vacation. So I was like, this is all gonna go bad. Like, do something with this.
Yeah, even though you're gonna be out this year, or I'm gonna be out this year on the 4th of July, I will still take your leftovers.
I got you. So maybe if like you have a neighbor who likes grapes too, you could like buy a bunch and give them half at that point. Because I know my daughter eats a lot of grapes, and there will be like a week here and there she's not into it, and I'm like, oh, they're all going to waste.
I'll keep you in mind. The other problem is cucumbers, if you like them for salads. It's really hard to buy. You cannot buy, you have to buy packages of 6 or 7 very small ones or one huge one. And you don't want to eat cucumbers every day.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think some kind
Okay.
of food trade.
She wants the leftover cucumbers.
I'll eat the leftovers.
Okay.
Not after they rot.
No, I'd rather give half the small package away at the very beginning.
Yeah. And I think that's definitely, that's a different dilemma than like I'm facing at this moment or Macy, but it's a dilemma that a lot of us face, even if we're not just by ourselves. Like if I buy grapes and my kid doesn't eat them all, then I'm like, come on, eat them faster. Or if she's not into them that week because she loves apples, I buy so many apples, but then I'm like, we gotta eat them, like, because they're gonna go bad. So I think trying to find, like, you always talk about that website, like free.
Oh yeah.
Not that you would do that here probably, but you could like.
I don't think you're allowed to
Pass-
give food on there, but there is.
Pass it on.
Yeah. We have on Facebook there is a Buy Nothing group, which I love, and you can give away things that sometimes people will give away food you're not really supposed to, but like, oh, I used half of these beads for an art project, but I'm never going to use them again. Does somebody else want them? And it's just a great way to give in the community without like having to donate to Salvation Army or Goodwill or something else like that.
And no matter even the best of people, like food goes bad. So like in the end, at some point, we're all gonna have food waste. So I wouldn't beat yourself up over it, but maybe just try to find somebody who you could share with in the future. That would be the only suggestion I can think on that, because I know certain things you cannot buy in a small volume, and that is grapes.
Yes.
For sure.
Not like bananas.
No, not like bananas. So something else I want to talk about is the use by versus the best by date. And I actually have a really good story to go with this. Well, not really good, but I think so. So use by date, we can see up there on the left, the lady with the red hair, she's got the fish. The use by date is the date that the item should be used and eaten by. So if it says use by April 10th, that's tomorrow, go ahead and cook it today and eat it. But best by date is the person on the right. That's things like, like chips or flour or usually not meat. So the best before date is, stuff is still usually good after the best before date. I've eaten plenty of things after the best before date and it is fine. Or if it says sell by date is when they want it out of the store. That's not when it's going to be the best to eat. So like you can still eat things after the best by date or the sell by date. The only one that's hard and fast is really use by. Yes.
I used to work at the dairy, and the milk had a sell-by date,
Mm-hmm.
but you still have 2 weeks to use it.
And that's what my story was going to be. So my husband and I get milk from this local farm. Well, it's at a grocery store, but it's from a local farm, and it was on sale. It was deeply discounted, and I was like, oh, we should get this big gallon because it's on sale, and we'll drink it all. And he was like, no, look at the date, and it was April 4th. And I had some last night, and it was still good. And he was like, no, it's going to be bad because it said sell by 4/4.
My husband, with spinach or even cheese, he'll be like, oh, no, the spinach is bad. Look at the date on it. And I'm like, but you can look at it with your eyeballs or touch it and it's not. I'm like, no, it's like super crispy still. And he's like, oh no, it's bad now. And I'm like, it's not bad. Like, it's perfectly fine. Like, it's a produce. Like, it's not, like, that's not like the magic number, but he will not eat it if it's past that date.
And that also like makes manufacturers sell more stuff, because if you buy the lettuce and it's past the use by date or whatever, and it's still good, you throw it away, then you need to buy more lettuce.
Yeah.
So.
And same with the cheese. He was gonna go put some cheese in our eggs the other day, and he was like, well, is this bad? And I was like, well, does
Is
it
it
have mold
moldy?
on it? And he was like, well, there's a stage between like when the mold appears, and is it in that stage? And I was like, no, I don't know. It's just mold one day or it's not moldy. Like, just use the cheese. And
Cut
he
the
is,
mold off.
he is,
Yeah, cut the mold cheese.
I know, right? He drives me crazy, you guys. All right.
So anyways, these dates are not hard and fast. Like, you have to use it by then. That's the point of this. So don't throw things away just because of what the date is. Like, give it a sniff. Look at it. Does it look bad? And then one of the last things we can do is compost. If you have access to compost, that is a great option for reducing your food waste. Because like Ashley said, sometimes stuff goes bad. Or banana peels. We can't really, you could like try to figure out something to do with them, but we're not going to eat banana peels probably. So you could compost those instead. And then by Ashley, this Eat Me First basket, I really like that idea for myself, because things get shoved in the back of the fridge sometimes and we forget that they are there. And then maybe we buy like cheese. Maybe we buy another thing of cheese and we open it and we start using that and we're like, oh wait, I had that from last week and I didn't use it all. So having like a little Eat Me First basket or something like that, to remind yourself this is about to go bad or this needs to be eaten.
I'm slowly switching out my Tupperware for like all glass containers as it like breaks and usually gets lost because my kids use it for something, slime particularly moment. And I find that if I store like leftovers in a glass container that I can see, it's helpful too. Like if it's in like a turquoise container and I can't see what's in it, I'm just like, oh, I don't know what that is. I just keep moving on past it. So that's helped me.
Yeah, so being able to see it is very helpful. And then food packaging. All these. Go ahead. You got it.
So food packaging is a big thing when you go to the store and you're looking around, because even in this, like having zero waste or trying to reduce your waste, sometimes you can't, right? So sometimes you have to buy eggs, right? So it's better to buy eggs in a cardboard container like the last Exactly, the top one, I think.
Yeah.
But the middle one is plastic, so you cannot recycle the plastic one. You can't recycle a styrofoam one at home in your container. You guys do have styrofoam down at the loading docks, from what I understand. But just having something that's cardboard is going to be better than styrofoam or plastic in the long run. So just picking packaging that is a recyclable product is one of the first things that you can do that's just pretty easy. And less packaging, so sometimes you'll see, what's a good example of something that has less packaging? So my husband loves to buy bubble water. He needs to have like bubble water. He will not drink the water from the tap. It is super annoying. So first I switched him from plastic bottles to aluminum bottles. And then there at the store, the water comes in just cardboard boxes, but I can buy it cheaper at Costco, but it comes in a cardboard box wrapped in plastic, and they have the 6-pack ring. They may have just taken off the 6-pack ring, but so it has plastic on it. So it's worth it to me just to buy it from the grocery store where it's just in cardboard and I can just recycle that and it doesn't have any of the plastic involved. So sometimes, and it doesn't always have to be a price change. I mean, obviously I can't compete with Costco, but just going to the store and finding things that have less packaging. And that's something I've talked to my kids a lot about. When they want a toy, sometimes I'm like, look at all the packaging. Like, you're gonna play with this for 5 minutes and then you're gonna throw it away. And that has actually helped them say no to some things. So I liked that. And then reduce getting to-go or delivery food. Almost all to-go food is not recyclable, all the containers, except for the bag that it comes in, or maybe like the cardboard drink carrier. That's also the thing I need to reduce. We have like I said, we have 2 girls, we're out late with sports and stuff, so sometimes I get a lot more to-go food that I like.
And again, none of it's recyclable. So we take a look on the picture right here. None of this is recyclable. So the fry container, the cup, none of that. The napkins, the paper towels, the utensils, anything that comes from a fast food restaurant, basically, besides the paper bag, has to go in the trash. None of it is recyclable. Okay, we're gonna move through this one pretty quickly.
Welcome to this or that, where we look at 2 different items packaging and decide which might be the best based off Greensboro.
Can you guys hear that?
Mayor.
I don't know what I did.
Oh, she fixed that last time.
I got it.
So this video that we're about to maybe see is a video that we did. We went to the grocery store and we just compared. We tried to find things that you like, 2 pastas, one in a plastic, one in a cardboard, and we tried to make them price comparable. And which packaging would you rather get?
So do you want to kind of talk through it and I'll pause it from that?
Can you guys hear it? Even though it's really low, I don't know. I don't know how to turn up the volume.
So we can kind of just talk through it. I'll pause it after each one.
Pull it up to the speaker.
Welcome to this or that, where we look at 2 different items packaging and decide which might be the best based off Greensboro recycling.
So this one is rice. One's in a plastic bag and one's in a cardboard box. They want the pasta. Obviously, which one's better?
Cardboard.
Cardboard box, right? Then the next one is albacore tuna, same thing. It's a plastic bag or a aluminum can. Same with the chicken broth, that's an aluminum can or steel can and a box. So for both of those, it would be the can. Yes?
Okay.
So the cans are infinitely recyclable. So even if you have, I would say if it was cardboard or a can, I would still choose a can because it's infinitely recyclable, where paper and cardboard is only recyclable 5 or 7 times.
And the cartons are not recyclable.
And the cartons are not recyclable. So we learned that last week. Anything that's cardboard that holds a liquid, you're gonna throw that away. So soup cartons, juice cartons, milk cartons, cups that, like paper cups, those kind of things are all gonna be thrown away.
So the plastic milk jug is
The
better
plastic
than
milk jug you can recycle, so that's plastic and it's a jug, so we can recycle that. This is chicken broth. One was in a box and one was in a can.
Sorry, I went back.
Oh, So that was so this is the chicken broth. One's in the box, the carton, and one's in the can. So the can would be better. Same with the apple juice. The apple juice was in a carton, and then one was in
this or that, we.
the plastic things. I hate to promote plastic, but at least you can recycle that.
Not boxes.
Not the boxes, yeah. Milk. So this is a good example of the milk. The jug you can recycle. The carton you can't. Lotion. A lot of these kind of things come in these like tubes, but you can't. You have to throw those tubes away. So if it's a nice bottle like that, then you can at least recycle that. Coffee. So that's a plastic bag, and that was like a plastic container. So they were both plastic, but that one would be recyclable. It would be like a tub, I guess.
Without its lid.
Yes, without its lid, because the lid pops off. Tide Pods. So you can buy Tide Pods in the bag, or you can buy Tide Pods in a container. And the container you could recycle, but the bag you cannot.
That would be like a tub.
Yeah. Nuts, those are peanuts, party peanuts. Ooh, we're getting crazy in the grocery store. So the plastic bag you cannot recycle, the container you can, the bottle. Then it goes to produce, so some produce is sold in the bags, but you can't recycle any of that netting. That would just go to garbage, so buying your produce naked and loose is the best way to go.
So then do you then put it in a plastic bag till you get to the checkout, or you let it roll around loose?
I let it loose in the cart. You can have, we don't have one up here. There are produce like mesh bags that you can get. This is another disagreement my husband and I have. So he is like, I hate sending him to the grocery store because he gets, he'll put our avocados in a bag, and I'm like, why are you putting like, they're fine. I don't put any of my produce in a bag. He always says like, but they're touching it, they're gonna touch it. And I'm like, it's one more person touching it. Like, how many people do you think have touched it since it got picked or whatever? Like, they've picked it, they've processed it, they've shipped it, they've put it out. People are, how many times have I grabbed an apple and been like, nope, not that one, So like, I'm like, it's one more person, we're gonna wash it.
Exactly.
And I've never had anybody complain at the grocery store. I just leave them in there. I group them, nicely so that they can get to them easily, and then they just put them in a bag, like in my bag.
Back to the beginning.
Yep. So that was that. It was just something to help people like think about when you're at the grocery store. That's where a lot of decisions can be made, or if you're at Target, things like that. Looking at the packaging is a big thing because, like I said, we don't live in a zero waste society where you're not going to create any garbage, but it's trying to pick things that you can either recycle, pick things that are in the least amount of packaging, or packaging that's just better overall and less plastic. So next we're gonna kind of go through the rooms of some things that we thought you can reduce. So we're gonna start with the kitchen. There's a lot of things that you can do in the kitchen, and we always kind of suggest to people to try one new thing a month. It makes it a little bit more sustainable, and you can see if it works for you, if it doesn't work for you. I have tried things and it has not worked, and I've been like, I can't do it, I can't give that up. And I try something different. So I'm always trying to get rid of new things or change out new things. So the first thing was Ziploc bags. That was what I thought was going to be the hardest thing in the world for me to do, but it ended up not being as hard as I thought it was going to be. So over here, so instead of Ziploc bags, now I just use Tupperware. And it's reusable, you can wash it.
Packing lunch.
Packing lunches, packing snacks. We also have like a Ziploc bag that's made out of like silicone.
So you can wash this in the dishwasher, or just by hand and reuse it. Yeah. They have, this one's kind of harder. They have softer ones too. There are a bunch of different brands.
Yeah, we have some of those at home. I prefer Tupperware, it just seems easier to me. That's like a little lunch box, like you can put like a sandwich in it, you can put chips in it too or whatever.
Oh,
So like,
a little harder to wash.
so for me, we have, my youngest is 10 and she eats a lot of goldfish. And so instead of buying goldfish in like the little bags, which creates more waste than just one big bag, we buy the big bag and then, dole it out as we go. just to try to reduce a little bit of waste there, because that's not something I can reduce. I am not creative enough to bake my own goldfish. I don't know how to do that.
Especially the shape.
I can hardly make dinner. Like, making dinner every night for the rest of my life just seems like a really daunting task, and so I'm not making goldfish. This is like a beeswax cover, so instead of using like silicone, or not silicone, saran wrap, using like a beeswax where you can cover your food too, cover bowls and stuff like that.
So these are kind of old, but
Yeah, these have been like out in our van getting hot.
so they're kind of stuck together.
But these work great too. You can also wrap a sandwich in it and do all sorts of stuff with that.
And then you just,
We'll pretend like this is our sandwich. We could wrap it up.
and how do you clean it?
Just wash it.
You just wash it.
So that's
But in the sink, not in the dish.
not in the dishwasher.
Yeah, not in the dishwasher. I don't think so.
Where do you get them?
They have them. I got some online, like on Amazon. But they also have them in Target. I know
Whole
that
Foods would probably have one.
Deep Roots has them.
Mhm.
Lots of stores are carrying them now. I'll have to check at Walmart to see if they have
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, a lot of things, it's like, you just don't know what it is, so you pass by it, and now that you've heard us say it, you'll probably notice it somewhere.
They
And you're like,
definitely
"Oh."
have these at every store now. These, just about.
Yeah.
They have them at Walmart.
They have them everywhere.
Maybe even Food Lion. I
They
don't know
might.
about Food Lion, but
They've got them everywhere now.
yeah.
Yeah. And there's ones that are better than other ones, of course, and there are expensive ones and cheap ones and all sorts of things like that.
The
But
Stasher brand, it's called Stasher.
the Stashers are the best.
They're supposedly the best ones, but they're very expensive.
I have a
But you
big
can
one
use
that I
it.
use very specifically for marinating meat, and that's the only thing I do with it. But I put all my meat in there, marinate it, and it's like heavy duty, and it like won't go anywhere. I love it. The next is paper towels. So I know Macy and I both try to reduce the amount of paper towels that we use. My husband has like this whole thing about paper towels. So we still have paper towels in the house. We also have 2 dogs. So like yesterday, my dog threw up on the floor and I had to use paper towels. I don't really want to use a rag for that. But for the most part, we hardly buy paper towels. They're really just mostly for the dogs at this point, or when I haven't done the laundry. And I don't have rags, but we've moved to rags. I've cut up my kids' clothes if they have holes in them and I can't donate them, just to like wipe down the tables with. Our dog ate a towel one time, so it had holes in it. I think there was some food on it. It came from the swimming pool bag, so I'm assuming there was like a gummy stuck on it from my kid. So I cut it up into lots of little different wiping down rags. This is one of those areas where people will go out and be like, oh, I want to be sustainable and I'm going to buy all new rags. And it's like, well, just use what you've got first. I do need some more rags because I'm running out. I actually think my children sometimes use them and throw them away because I found them and I've been like, why is this in the garbage? Like, you just clean something. They're not the brightest. I didn't create the smartest children.
That's not true.
And Macy's got some napkins, so using reusable napkins. Again, my mother-in-law bought me some wonderful napkins, and then every time she comes over, she's like, oh, I don't want to get that messy. And I'm like, but that's like the whole point of the napkin. I'm using your napkins that you got me, so I forced her to use them anyways.
You know, I discovered a long time ago when I had a family of 5 that you might as well use cloth napkins and run them through the washing machine.
Yep.
And I still have some of those same cloth napkins.
Yep.
I don't care if they don't match anymore, it doesn't matter.
Yep.
But it avoids the whole paper thing with
Yep.
the, yeah.
Yeah, because people don't think about, so up here we have that 51,000 trees are used every day just in the United States to create paper towels.
Yeah.
Paper towels are used one time and then you can't recycle them, so they're just garbage. So that's a lot of trees every single day. And they're also covered in plastic, right? So there's a lot. I've had a friend argue with me, like, well, then you have to do more laundry. And I'm like, how much more laundry do you, like, how many rags do you think I'm using where I have to use, like, I mean, tons of, like, running of the laundry. I cannot think of that word. Washing machine. Thank you. How many loads of laundry do you think I am creating to run in the washing machine for my rags? So you have to, to make a paper towel, you gotta cut down trees, you gotta process it, you've gotta bleach it, there's all this water involved. Then you've gotta make the plastic, right, to cover them and then ship them out. So using a rag over and over and over again, and if you've had some of those same napkins since your kids were young, they last a really long time. So that's an easy thing to kind of switch to, I think. A sponge, we have different ones. So I have been using this one down in the corner. It's a silicone sponge, and it has a scrubber on the back, like a harder side. I've had it for like 4 years now.
You can put it in the dishwasher.
You can put it in the dishwasher to sanitize it. And I love it. The soap doesn't like soak in like a sponge. So like when I put it down, I always put it down with the bristles facing up. And to like, if I'm gonna keep using it, but I think it works great. I love it. I don't like sponges. I think they're dirty. And my husband loves sponges, and we'll just like go through them because he'll be like, that's dirty, throw it away. So I just don't buy sponges anymore, and he just has to live with that.
And
So
then go ahead.
Where do you buy this?
You can buy those. I've seen those at Walmart too. I feel like once they hit Walmart or Target, they're everywhere. So if you just look up a silicone sponge, like I've seen them in line at Walmart before. So I guess, but they do buy the sponges? I don't even know what they do.
We need to go to Walmart and look.
We do. I know that they have them at Walmart though. They even have them for your face. I bought a little one, or it came with something. It's like a little one, so if you want to like wash your face, you can use it. And they have body ones now too. So instead of a loofah, you can use those on your body as well.
Yeah.
And they're more sanitary than a loofah because those can hold bacteria.
Yeah, they harbor less bacteria, and you can just put it in the dishwasher to sanitize it versus, like a soft sponge that it just holds all that moisture and bacteria.
Yeah. Yeah, it never smells funky.
Yep.
Like when you get a sponge and you're like, ugh, I touched the sponge and now my hand smells. I hate that. And then the last one for the kitchen, there's tons of things to do in the kitchen, is to use a reusable Keurig cup. So if you guys make coffee at home and you use those little Keurig pods, they do make reusable ones that you can wash out because the Keurig pod
It's
is
cheaper.
Because then you're not having to buy all the ones that are
Oh, sorry,
pre-done.
I interrupted you from saying that
No,
they're not
yeah.
recyclable.
Yeah, they're not
Keurig
recyclable.
pods are not recyclable, so we were gonna throw those away. Or you can make your coffee with a French press or a normal coffee maker, or so many different ways. The K-cups are just really wasteful, again, because you're making one of those every single day. Think about 365 Keurig cups just from 1 year, and they're all gonna sit in the landfill for thousands and thousands of years. So how can we not use those? They are convenient, so you could always get the reusable one.
And these are great gifts too, like if you have somebody in your life who's like wanting to do this kind of stuff, or you want to encourage them, getting them some napkins. Some people don't want to
I love
spend money on themselves. They're like, I don't want, like, I'd love some napkins, but I don't want to buy them. So these kinds of things too can be a great gift idea.
Goodwill.
Yeah, Goodwill's a great one, where you have a whole slide on donating and stuff like that.
Yard sales.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yard sales. Okay, next is, this isn't really your room, but this is maybe under in a cabinet or something like that, cleaning. How can we clean and be sustainable? I'm just gonna click through these because I don't know what order we're gonna go in. So cleaning, we're gonna start out with. All right. So for cleaners, there are a lot of options. Some of these are things that you have to get online. The first one is these concentrated cleaners, which Ashley uses these. So you can, she loves them. And they're in these little glass bottles, and then you just put it in an older spray bottle that you already have, mix it with water, and then it is good to clean. So this is a multi-purpose cleaner. Put it in the bottle, put the water in, it's ready to clean.
Yeah, and you can buy that at Target.
Target.
I like to
you can
buy
get it
things
at
that I
Target.
know like are close by that I don't have to order online, because a lot of like that kind of stuff is you have to buy online or it used to be like
Yeah.
that. So I love when it starts coming into the stores, because I love that, because I don't have to buy the big bottles, and really what you're paying for like a multi-surface.
You're good about talking about this because you actually.
For a multi-surface cleaner or a window spray, you're paying for a lot of water, because really that little amount of concentrate is what's in those big spray bottles too. So it's just making the spray bottle at home, and I just use like the same bottle until it breaks, and then I bought a glass bottle for one of them. I'm still using the window, like Windex bottle for my window cleaner. So yeah. You want to keep going, or you want to?
I got it. Okay. The next one is hand soap and dish soap, things like that. Can come in aluminum bottles, which is recyclable, versus coming in a plastic bottle. So this also they have at Target and other stores. This is recyclable. You can pour it into a bottle you already have, or just use it in this bottle, however you want to do it. But again, aluminum is recyclable, and it is infinitely recyclable. So much better than using plastic. The next one is a reusable mop or duster. So we can see that over here. These are better than like the Swiffer. If you're using the Swiffers and it has the pad that you take off and throw away, they have ones that have pads that come off that are washable. You can wash it, just stick it back on there and reuse it over and over again. I have one just very similar to that, and I have two mop pads, and I just switch them out when one gets dirty, wash it, and then keep using it. We've had it for like 5 years probably, and I love it. It works very well. Laundry detergent and dish soap. You can take this one because.
So I was like, where are we? Well, yeah. So laundry detergent comes in lots of different things, but most people nowadays have been using, like once we got liquefied soap, that's when a lot of the plastic containers came up. So one of the things that we can use are these little sheets. They look like a dryer sheet. Where we just sometimes we just throw them around for fun. But they look like little dryer sheets, and you just put them in the washing machine, and that's the soap. And they come in a box. I have not seen these out I have not seen them out and about yet. So there's something that you probably do have to order online.
I've seen them at Target.
Have you?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I think I saw them at Target. They
Target.
definitely have them at Deep Roots.
They probably have them at Deep Roots.
And
Deep
Whole
Roots.
Foods.
And maybe Whole Foods. Yeah, I haven't checked Whole Foods. I was just there the other day.
So what's left after you do your laundry?
Just disappears.
That's the soap. Just like normal soap disappears, that one will too. So, and then you just have a cardboard box at the end. I haven't gone all the way to this yet. I have switched from liquid detergent to box powder detergent because I can at least recycle the box. That'll be one of my next steps. I'm really focusing on my food right now. But yeah, so that's one thing that you can do, and then do it yourself cleaners. That's what I got.
So sometimes we do a green spring clean class where we make our own cleaners. You don't always have to buy cleaners from the grocery store. You can make your own things that disinfect just as well with like rubbing alcohol, or vinegar is a great thing to clean with vinegar and baking soda. So you can look up recipes to make your own cleaners. Vinegar and baking soda work really well as just an all-purpose cleaner, or just vinegar sometimes works well as an all-purpose cleaner. For cleaning my mirrors, I clean that with rubbing alcohol. It works just as well as Windex because it evaporates so quickly. It doesn't leave streaks. So like we're wiping off the toothpaste, we don't want to see streaks on there. The rubbing alcohol works really well for that. And I'll just mix rubbing alcohol and water, and then you can add a scent in. So if you have essential oils or anything that can make it like scented a little bit better than just smelling like a straight up doctor's office, you can do that. But yeah, so I like making my own cleaners sometimes.
All right, so that's just kind of cleaning. There's lots of things you can do, and just little changes that you can make. I use the dish soap now, and I really like that. Okay, so the bathroom is a huge place to reduce our waste. Toilet paper, just like paper towels come wrapped in plastic, so does paper. I have moved to this kind of toilet paper. Who gives a crap? That's what it's called. We're all adults here, I can say that. So that's one that I've switched to. It is more expensive, but it's just, I don't know, it's one of the things that I started and now I can't stop because there's no reason for me to not keep going with it. So it comes in a they cardboard, I get like a huge shipment of it, and then it comes wrapped in the paper that's also recyclable. And I get the bamboo, they have recycled toilet paper as well in that company. But there are different types available. I have seen one at Target, and I have seen some at Whole Foods. Has them.
Yeah.
I'm sure Deep Roots does too.
Yeah.
Harris Teeter does also.
Does Harris Teeter now?
Has the bamboo that comes in a box and it's wrapped in
Ooh,
between paper.
awesome. I like that. All right. It's getting everywhere. So it's growing. I mean, the more I look around, the more we see things that are packaged in a better plastic-free way.
But personally, I'm like, that toilet paper is expensive. I love it. I have gotten it before. I love it. It's very good toilet paper. But it is a little more expensive. So I will just get whatever is at the store that's made from 100% recycled materials. So that at least we know they weren't cutting down all those trees to make this toilet paper. Even though it is wrapped in plastic, at least I know that it's made from recycled materials and it's gotten another life. And it is a little more expensive, but nowhere near the price of that. But one day I will start using it. And sometimes if I'm feeling like, oh, I want to splurge on some toilet paper, I'll get that.
And I think that's an important thing too to remember about like napkins and paper towels and toilet paper is that when you can choose recycled, it's way better. So like in our last program last week, we talk about how paper can only be recycled 5 to 7 times. So it starts off really strong, like a box, then it gets downcycled into like maybe a paper bag, and then it can go into like a piece of paper, and then into like a napkin. So that's the end of its life, right? So if you get toilet paper or paper towels where they're just fresh and that's their first time around, it's not really that we're wasting 6 times that it could have been recycled. So just really making sure that choosing recycled is also a really good option. The next is our toothbrushes. So when we do a lot of our mouth keeping, we can go to bamboo brushes. Those can be composted, but again, just not plastic. So that's an option.
That's a little thing, and you only buy that maybe like, you know, I go to the dentist and I get them for free, so
I don't use the bamboo brushes yet.
I don't use the bamboo brushes because I get one at my doctor's office for free, my dentist's office for free, and that's just what I use.
Yeah, I really like my electric toothbrush. I really hate the dentist. I mean, I love the dentist because I also don't want to have tooth pain, but I don't want to have my tooth drilled. So I'm like, whatever I need to do to not have a cavity.
So like we said, we don't do some of this stuff. So that one, I could have taken that one.
Yeah.
But the next one is bar soap and bar conditioner. This is also something that I don't currently do anymore. I have tried it. But bar soap actually I do that. Bar soap versus some soap in a bottle is a little more sustainable. That smells so good, y'all. Smell that as you're passing it around. I love it.
So that's a shampoo bar, that one.
Yeah, so the shampoo bars work pretty well. You just suds up your hands like you would with bar soap, and put it in your hair.
Yep, so that's a good way. They're also making a lot of shampoo and conditioner now in aluminum bottles. That one is a lotion, I think, but then up here we have a picture of shampoo and conditioner that's coming in aluminum bottles instead of plastic bottles. So that's a newer thing that's coming out, is a lot of aluminum bottles in comparison to just plastic bottles. I do use bar soap now. I don't use liquid soap when it comes to like showering in the shower. And then I use my hands.
So, oh my goodness. So this is another brand. I know that you can get this at a lot of, like you can get this at Whole Foods and other stores, so you don't have to order it online. It's just another type of shampoo bar. I did use this for a while and I really liked it. Somebody gave me some shampoo, so now I'm using the shampoo in the bottle. But this lotion, like Ashley said, aluminum bottle, recyclable, is from Target too, so this is stuff that you can get locally. You don't have to order online. And it smells really good.
But what about the old-fashioned bar soaps like Ivory?
Yeah, that's fine too.
Okay.
These are for the shampoo bars.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I
use some bar soap. That's what we use.
Yeah, we don't have a bar soap
in the shower
in our demonstration, but like I use like a Dove, just a bar soap of Dove when I'm in the shower.
Mm-hmm.
And then for like washing our hands, I have an aluminum bottle that I put into like pumps that we have at home. And I have the foam ones too, so you use a lot less soap if you have like the foam soap. It's like just a small ratio of soap to water, and I like that a lot.
Do you have to have a special bottle for the foam?
I don't know, like the pump. I think
The pump is a special.
I think the pump is a special one. So like if you ever like if your pump ever broke and you wanted to get one, you could go get a foam one, and then you'd use less soap overall. It's good with kids especially. And then deodorant. You
Yes.
can speak on deodorant.
Oh, it's not there. Okay, so we can see up here on the left of the toilet paper that native deodorant. There's a lot of deodorant now, even like secret main brands, like normal brands that you find everywhere, are coming out with deodorant in cardboard tubes versus in the plastic tubes. So this native deodorant, I love it. I use it all the time. It works very well. It's one of the only ones that I found that actually works really well. And I don't stink after a long day. So I really like the native deodorant. And then there are so many brands coming out now that have it in the cardboard tube that you can get at a lot of different stores. I didn't see any at Walmart when I went, but I know that Target has at least 3 different brands that come in a cardboard tube like that.
And we just bought the native for my daughter. She's 15 and she doesn't smell, so I figure it must work pretty good.
Yeah.
For a
15-year-old
girl.
and she
Not
plays
to smell, and
sports.
she does not want to smell.
Okay. And we are running a little low on time, so I'm going to try to go through this kind of quickly. In our closet, when we're purchasing new clothes, how can we do that sustainably? Let's see, I'm going to click through, and there's a statistic about how much water is used. 700 gallons of water is used on average to make one t-shirt. One t-shirt, 700 gallons of water. Made through the, I guess maybe we'll think that it's a cotton t-shirt, so producing the cotton, we have to water the cotton to grow it, and then bleaching the shirt, creating the shirt, shipping the shirt, packaging for it, all that goes into it, but 700 gallons of water for one t-shirt. So our clothes have a big impact on the environment. So trying to really only buy clothes that we like, buy secondhand when we can, and then buying quality items. A lot of stuff online that you can order now, it's cheap, but it's not good. It's not going to last long for all this online ordering stuff like Shein and a lot of different websites that you can order clothes off cheap. They're not good quality. And then according to the EPA, 16% of donated clothes are resold or recycled. The other 84% ends up in landfills or incinerators. So just because we donate clothes does not necessarily mean that they're going to get worn again, especially if they have holes in them or something like that. So a lot of clothes don't end up getting donated, worn again, or reused. And again, like I said, we're running out of time, so I'm going to go quickly.
So with spring cleaning and downsizing, one of the first things you want to do is when you find something that you don't want anymore, you don't need, offering it to friends or family. That works out great, especially when you're downsizing, because there's lots of people who want those kinds of things. Posting them on Facebook. So in our neighborhood, we have like a little thing, a little site, and if you want to put something out, like we'll just say like, oh, this toy's on the curb if anybody wants it, and then somebody will come and get it. So it's been really great. And then offering things to people that we care about, just like even though I wasn't downsizing, offering Macy my food, that's something I can give to her. There's also shelters that you can donate clothes to, or coat drives that are around. So like when you have something that you don't want anymore and you really want to donate it, I love Goodwill, but I also love donating clothes that I know people don't have to pay for if I really want them to get it for free later on. And donating to reputable companies, don't just donate to anybody, because sometimes they don't do the right thing with them.
Yeah, so along with this, it would be a great idea if you have friends that maybe wear close to the same size as you, or just in your community, like if you could have like a clothing swap day or something like that. You guys have so many activities here. It would be great to have something like a clothing swap where everybody brings, or just like I'm done with this swap. If you have something that you don't want anymore that you want to give away for free, everybody brings that. and then you can trade and get stuff for free. Sounds kind of fun. All right. Here are some shops to donate to. I am not going to go through each and every one, but maybe at the end I can just leave this up and you can see different places to donate certain things to. I will say the Barnabas Network is really great for furniture.
Yes, they are.
Yes, because they give furniture away to people who need it.
And then they have periodic sales for the general public too.
Yes,
And they pick it up.
and they pick it up.
That's the best part.
And then Greensboro Urban Ministry for food pantry. There are 70 food pantries around though. Like you can find plenty of food pantries. And then the Junior League of Greensboro, the Barney Box for anything, clothes, electronics, books, stuff like that. I'll pull that back up at the end.
I think outside in like the traveling category is probably the hardest one to deal with, traveling at least. But when you go
You
on
have to
to
remember stuff.
yes, remembering things is the hardest part. So like I bring my reusable bags to every store that I go to, whether it's Target, the mall, or the grocery store. Kind of like if that was a bigger bag. And on average, plastic bags are used for 12 minutes. So they are created, they are used for 12 minutes on average, and then they are here forever on this earth, right? They're not going anywhere.
And they're not recyclable.
Not recyclable either in our garbage or in our cans here or out and about. So you bringing your own bags, and bags happen. There are plenty of times that I go into Target and I get in the Target warp where I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna go buy 2 things, and then I have $300 worth of stuff. So, and I brought 1 bag, or I forgot my bags in the car. So forgetting sometimes happens. Bringing your own water bottle or like mug if you go grab coffee or hot chocolate. I also bring it. I go out to like Jason's Deli a lot with my kids, and if you can fill up your own cup for soda, you can also bring your own cup. So I pay for my soda and then I use my own cup. We just did that at Moe's the other night for my daughter's 10th birthday. That's what she wanted to eat, was Moe's Mexican food. And then using your own to-go container. I don't know if you guys can do that here, but we can bring our own container. Like if you go out to a restaurant, I know that if I go to the Cheesecake Factory and I get the chicken Madeira that I love, I'm gonna have a whole portion to take home. So I can bring my own container instead of using their styrofoam or whatever kind of container they have. That's a big one that we can use. Bringing your own straws or utensils places, so that you don't have to use plastic ones. So we have ones that we carry around a lot in our bags, but even then, like I've had some sets given to me, but I'll just bring my utensils from home. I'm just gonna bring them home anyways. So you don't have to go out and like buy all new stuff for that either. And traveling is hard because like when you travel, like we just went to Las Vegas and like I'm in an airport, what am I gonna do? I'm thirsty, you know, like things like that happen. I was really excited because at the airport they had an aluminum water bottle, kind of like this, and I was so excited. So I bought it. And I was also thirsty.
All right, and then we just have some little tips for you. I'll start with the first one, which we already talked about a little bit. Don't buy stuff just because it's sustainable. Like you don't have to buy, only buy it when you need it. Don't buy it just because it's sustainable. If you have a pack of 10 sponges at home, don't go and buy the silicone sponge until you're ready to use it, until you need it. Trying one thing a month, we also already talked about that. If you go to the grocery store and you're like, I'm not gonna buy any plastic, I'm gonna produce 0 waste this month, yeah, right. Good luck.
Yeah.
Because it is very hard, and we've been doing this for years, and there's still stuff that we do that, we're not 0 waste. I still have stuff in my trash can. It's gone down a lot, but I still have stuff in my trash can. Don't feel guilty if something doesn't work out. Don't cry about it. If it doesn't work out, it's okay. Just try something different. Try something new next time. It will be fine. Just do what you can. Everybody is at a different place in their journey. Ashley, you're good about talking about not judging people. You have a good story, so I'll let you talk about that.
Yeah, so I think that the big thing is that when you start on an environmental journey or you've been on one, you know, you're just like, oh, you're using a straw, you know, like people just get really judgy because it means a lot to you, right? And that's a really big thing. I've had to really reassure my friends. Every time we go out to eat, I have a friend who uses a straw. And I'm not like, oh, you shouldn't use that straw. You're going to go to bad places later on. You know, like, oh, the turtle. Like, I just don't think it's my place. I think it's better to live by example. And I've had friends who have stopped using straws or stopped using plastic bags because they've seen me do it and they ask questions, or I just live authentically in it instead of pushing your agenda on somebody. I think we can all probably agree that just never really works, whether it's the environment, politics, life, whatever. Just living authentically and not being judgmental, I think, is the best way to go. So everybody's on their own journey, and just appreciating that and trying to support people instead of pushing what you do on them. So
Unless they're recycling wrong.
yeah, that's just giving them information. That's a black and white, like, oh, that's incorrect. But using a straw, and some people need to use a straw, right? Some people medically can't, like, need to use straws, we've been told. And so, like, that's something that needs to happen. And everybody has their own thing. I still use a plastic cup if I'm out and about, and I have to use a plastic cup. I'm not gonna not use something, but I try as much as I can in other areas to try to reduce as well. So everybody's got their thing.
That's right. We just do what we can.
What's greenwashing?
Yeah, what's
Oh, greenwashing. So watch out for greenwashing. So what that means is that people just
I can. Do you want me to explain?
yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
greenwashing is when you were here last week. I know. Remember the cup that said "recycle me" on it, but it's not recyclable. It's marketing techniques to sell things that look like they're more environmentally friendly, but companies just want to sell you stuff. So for example, we have a cup that we bring to our recycling presentations that says, "Recycle me, I'm recyclable" on it, but it's not. There have been studies done that show that if consumers think things are better for the environment, or they think they're recyclable, then they're more likely to purchase them and spend more money on them. So just watch out for companies that maybe are putting "recycle me" on a toothpaste tube when we know toothpaste tubes are not recyclable, or like saying that things are natural or compostable. We know that anything that goes to a landfill, even if it is even if it is compostable, like an apple or a paper bag, it's not going to break down. So unless you're actually going to compost it, spending more money on something that's compostable, there's really no point.
And even the stuff that is, like, it looks like plastic, but it's compostable, like there's cups. There's cups, there's plates, there's utensils. What the general public doesn't know, and what I didn't know, was that you can't just compost those at home. So like if you had a big, like a bin here and you guys compost it here on site, those can't go in there because it doesn't get hot enough to actually break it down. So they have to be industrially composted, and nobody ever talks about that. Right, so Max TVs here in town, they actually collect all of their stuff that's in their store that is compostable, and they actually send it to get composted where it needs to go. But most places don't do that. So it's another way of like, oh, this is better, and it is better if it gets out into the stream, and it is not gonna break down like plastic does and leach and create all of these problems. However, it's not just easy as, oh, it composts.
I've read that the plastic industry was really enthusiastic about that number system, 1 through 7 or whatever, with the little round system, because it made people feel like, oh, I can buy this, and very little of that stuff is actually.
Yeah, so the chasing arrows with the number in between has been a big source of problems in the recycling community. The numbers are really representative of what that plastic is made up of, so that they know, oh, this is PET, this is HDPE, and then the chasing arrow, like anybody, if anything can ever be made into something new, whether somebody wants to make it into something new or not, they can put that symbol on it. California is stopping that. They are not going to be allowing that chasing arrow anymore. which I've told our presentation, I think I said it last week, once California does it, normally they're gonna do it everywhere, because they're not gonna make one set of, plastic straws in one spot and then not put that sign on all the straws, because they're all just going everywhere. So if one state says we don't allow that, then they just start making all of them like that. And I have seen containers now that have like a 5 and a triangle, but it's not the chasing arrow triangle anymore.
So we are running overtime, but we're gonna keep going unless anybody, if you need to leave, it's 12:06, so you can leave, we're not gonna be mad at you, but we're gonna keep going just because, why not? So the chasing arrow sign is a really great example of greenwashing. Just putting stuff on there to mislead you. And just because one simple, easy, sustainable thing that you can do that costs you no money is recycle right. Recycle right. We only want plastic bottles, tubs, and jugs, metal food and drink cans, and paper and cardboard. All these things on the right are commonly missed recycled items. Yeah, and I think that's all we have.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and we have drop-offs for glass. You can drop off here locally. You can drop off plastic film and wrap. You can drop off foam and hazardous waste. If you want to know more about that, let us know. We'll give you a recycling guide at it. Well, we're at the end.
Yeah.
And then this was a little Bill Nye video.
There's just been great reason to be optimistic about the future. Yes, we are going to solve these problems. Just the sooner the better. And by the way, people, if you're not optimistic, you're not going to get anything done. If you go into the pickleball match thinking you're going to lose, you're going to lose. If you go into the poker game, sure, you're going to lose. You're lose. For crying out loud, you've got to be optimistic. You've got to believe you're going to win, or you will have no chance. So yes, come on, people, let's go. Let's get her done.
So,
Voting.
okay, so
Vote. Take the climate and
Bill.
environment.
Okay, so that was a video from Bill Nye. One of my friends works for the Red Cross, and she was on a live stream with Bill Nye, and they were able to ask questions. And she was like, Macy, do you want me to ask Bill Nye anything? Because I know you love Bill Nye. And I was like, yeah, ask him how he stays so positive. Because he does a lot of work for the climate. He speaks out a lot about, science and climate change and all that stuff. And just like taking care of the environment. And it's hard for us sometimes to stay positive because there is so much negative news, and it's just like every week, oh, something else is contaminating our water. You know what I mean? It's just like there's always something kind of negative coming out. So we wanted to see how he stays positive. And he said that if you think that, oh yeah, everything's going to be terrible, we're going to do a bad job. If you think you're going to lose, you're going to lose. If you think you're going to win,